Well, welcome to our new series on the 21 days of goals. You'll notice back in the office, ready for a new year. And over the next 21 days, well, maybe longer for some of you, but I'll explain that in a moment. We're going to walk through this book by Brian Tracy, Goals, and we're going to do it one chapter at a time. Now, this book has truly changed my life. You can actually trace this back probably a decade ago. I had a business mentor, and he said, Reese, if you really want to change your life, if you're serious about it, then what you want to do is you want to read a chapter of this book every day for 21 days. And if you miss a day, I want you to go all the way back to the beginning and start over until you do it 21 days in a row. So you could probably see why it's going to take longer than 21 days, because I had to start this thing over quite a few times back then just to get it done. But when I completed it, I can't tell you that sense of accomplishment that I felt, that I finally followed through with something. And the commitment to my goals was much deeper because I had seen them over and over and over again as I did it. And that's what I want for you. I want this to be transformative if you choose to go on this journey. Now, if you're going on the journey, you really have a decision you need to make. You can either take the challenge and you could watch a video each day along with reading your chapter each day. And then if you miss a day, you can come all the way back to the start and watch this video all over again and do it just like I did it, where you're trying to build a consistent pattern of 21 days consistently reading a chapter. Option number 2 is you might just want to follow along casually. You might want to go through this and gain insights at your own pace. It's going to have a lot to do with where you're at in life right now. What do you want out of this season of your development journey? You're going to gain insights either way, but your commitment is deepened when you take the challenge. So either way you decide to do that, let me encourage you, get a hard copy of this book. Download it, pick it up on your Kindle, put it on your Audible device. Now, you'll notice something, though. If you see a book that's a different color than this, if it's red up top, white in the middle, and red at the bottom, that's the second edition, which you could follow along with that all the same. The second edition has almost everything this edition has in it, but this is the third edition, so you might notice that difference. If you get it on Audible, which I have it on Audible, it is only going to be the second edition. And each chapter's around 6 or 7 minutes. So if you prefer to listen, that might be a great option for you to go do it on there. Okay, I think that is all the housekeeping. It's time to jump into chapter 1 together. Chapter 1, which is right after the introduction, is titled, Get Started and Unlock Your Potential. Get started and unlock your potential. And I love how Brian Tracy opens with this big idea. He says right here that you become what you think about most of the time. You become what you think about most of the time. He goes on to say that your outer world ultimately becomes a reflection of your inner world. That was such a life-changing statement for me, because as he contrasts how successful people think versus how unsuccessful people think, you see that in action. He says that successful people think about what they want and how to get it most of the time. What they want and how to get it most of the time. While unsuccessful people think about what they don't want and what's going wrong. See, your inner world comes out into your outer world based on what you're thinking about. That was huge for me, and it gave me this lesson that I want to share with you. What you focus on is going to grow. What you focus on is going to grow. So be careful what you're focusing on. I'll give you an example of this. Recently, I was in Lambertville, New Jersey, and I was driving to a destination, and I took a wrong turn. And I ended up on a bridge that looked like it should have been one lane. It looked like one car should have passed at a time, but that's not the case. There was a car coming from each direction, and they were just barely squeezing by each other, and I was looking for a way to turn around. I was thinking, there's no way I want to take my truck through this. But I didn't have a choice. There wasn't a way to turn around. And I thought, how is this going to work without colliding with these other cars? But when I got on the bridge, I've got gripped my steering wheel. I'm looking really, really tightly at the road ahead. I noticed that I couldn't focus at the car on my left-hand side. And I couldn't focus at the wall of the bridge. Either one of those for too long would leave me running in that direction. No, I had to focus on the road straight ahead of me. I had to focus on the car that was in front of me and where I was going, how I was going to get to the other side of this bridge. Isn't that how life works? If we focus on the obstacles and the fears and what we don't want, we can often drift into those things, and that can be detrimental for us moving forward. But if we focus on the path ahead, if we look at our goals, if we're laser locked focused on where we're going, then we can get across successfully. Interesting fact though, that bridge is on the spot where George Washington crossed the Delaware. So talk about focus in the face of challenges. And that's why they didn't demolish the bridge or build a bigger one. And I bet you're wondering what happened. Well, the first pass at that bridge, I got across 0 issues. But as I turned around, I knew I've got to get back to the other side of that bridge to get to the spot in New Jersey that I was heading. And the second pass wasn't quite as smooth. I'm on the bridge, and then an Amazon truck clipped my mirror. So I learned quite a few valuable lessons that day. One is wrong turns can be costly. So what does this mean to us? Well, it's simple. What we focus on grows. So let's focus on what we want and not what we don't want. Now, at the end of every chapter, there is a section that focuses on practical steps moving forward. How can you put what you read into place? And every video, I'm going to pick one practical thing to focus on with you. And so here's what I want you to focus on. Number 4 in this section. It says, resolve today to think and talk only about the results you want in life, and refuse to talk about the ones you don't. When it comes to setting our goals, it's very, very important to think and talk about the things that we want, not the things that we don't want. So I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, what am I thinking about most of the time? Are those things serving me and helping me move forward? Or are they hindering me because I'm thinking about things that I don't want? This journey is going to stretch you. I believe it's going to challenge you. And if you stick with it, it's going to transform you like it did me so many years ago. But if you miss a day, it's not a big deal. I want you to just come back, start fresh, and keep moving forward. And then tomorrow, we will discuss the insights in chapter 2. It's going to be a life-changing 21 days together. I'll see you then.